I'm going to stand down here where we can get a good look at each other. I like this kind of thing instead of standing way up there, if that's all right with you folks.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I want to get a look at you freedom-loving, God-fearing American terrorists that you are. All right. And you get a look at me, all right? Oh, these are crazy times. Did you ever think we would be in this kind of situation? No. You guys that have been around the block a few times. And I tell you what, I didn't either. In fact, was thinking about it again this morning as I was on the way to Saturday mornings are Daddy Donut Day, and I go pick up donuts for the kids and bring it back, and bring back a Diet Coke for my wife. That's her one vice, that and me. So if that's as bad as it gets, it's pretty good. But certainly this time last year, I never thought that I'd be involved in this Tea Party thing, and certainly not running. Standing here in front of you folks asking for a job, running as the Republican candidate for the United States Senate. So definitely crazy times. You know, this time last year, Laura and I, we own a small plumbing business, and the economy finally caught up with us, and we saw that our sales had dropped 45%. And we were trying to figure out how we were going to save jobs and save our job and just kind of keep the company going. Our oldest son, Nick, had just started his senior year in high school, and we were starting the whole college thing and trying to figure that out, trying to figure out how we were going to pay for that as we just spent his college money on keeping the business going. Our second son, Riley, had just started 6th grade, and he's a football guy. He loves football. He's not much into school or doing homework. So we were trying to figure out how we were going to keep him out of detention. And we were having some success there. And then there was our youngest, Mallory, who's 8. And she has me wrapped around her finger, as most daughters probably do to their fathers. And she's part... pretty pink princess, and in the other part she's a lot like her mother, which is a good thing. So, and oh yeah, there was this whole election thing going on. There was this guy running named Barack Obama, and he was talking about spreading wealth around or something like that. We were trying to figure out what that was all about, and then there was John McCain. He was our guy. And, we were, John McCain, we were proud of his service in the late 60s and early 70s and what he did for our country. But when it was all said and done, I got to be honest that Laura and I and our family wound up voting for the Palin McCain ticket. And so we made it through the election. And things kind of went another way. And we thought, well, maybe it'll be okay. It's not going to be as bad as we thought, but yet still we had this feeling in our gut that everything just wasn't okay. This wasn't, and it didn't matter whether it was a Republican thing or a Democrat thing, it was just this feeling in our gut. And for Laura and I, and it turns out millions of people had that feeling in their gut across our country. And that's where this whole Tea Party thing came out of. And Laura and I heard of that rant on CNBC, that Rick Santelli fella talked about, kind of went crazy on the floor there in Chicago, and I enjoyed watching that, just watching the guy spin around like a top, kind of freaking out. And but Laura, she saw further, and when they mentioned that this Tea Party thing, she got online and said, "Tea Party? What could that be?" And we wound up a few days later. There was something going on up in Chicago, and we said, well, let's do our part for the economy. We'll take the kids out of school, and we'll get a hotel that has a pool. It's cold, and the kids are bouncing off the wall, so we'll take them swimming, and we'll check out the Tea Party. Never done anything like that before. Let's go see what that's all about. So we showed up on the frozen tundra of Daly Square. They call it the Windy City for a reason. It's very windy in Chicago and cold in February. And so we're standing there in our long underwear, and the nose is doing its thing, and the kids are starting to freak out a little bit. And there's no one else to be seen except business guys walking back and forth. No one. And we thought, great. Here we are. Let's go get something to eat. But way off in the corner, we saw a guy that seemed to be holding something in his arm. It looked like a poster board. So we go walking over there. And as we get closer, he's on the cell phone, and we hear him say, "Hey, there's someone else here. I'll call you back." And it turns out that it was a young fella just out of college. And he was from northern Indiana, from Elkhart. And we said, "Are you here for the tea party?" And he said, "Yeah." And he asked us if we were here for the tea party. We said, "Yeah." And it looks like it's going to be just us. That was literally about 30 minutes before the whole thing was supposed to start. About 20 minutes before the event was supposed to start, here comes a guy with clipboards. He comes walking up very busily with his clipboards. And he says, "Hi, you guys here for the tea party?" And we said, "Yeah, we're here for the tea party." He goes, "You want to help?" And I said, "Well, sure. How do you want to help? How can we help?" "Well, if you can get the signatures and greet people that are, coming in." And I'm thinking, greet people? We've already greeted each other. I think this is it, man. Let's go get something to eat. But lo and behold, about 10 minutes before the event was to start on that first tea party, all of a sudden, folks started streaming in from the shadows. We're kind of a movie buff. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And they got that Devil's Tower, and people just feel called to go. They got to get to that Devil's Tower, and they just got that look in their eye, gotta go, gotta go. Well, that's how these people started streaming in from the shadows. They just came in. They didn't know why. And I started, greeting guys coming in, and I'd go up to a guy and shake his hand and say, "Welcome," and he'd say, "I took off work today." Like he was being rebellious, a real rebel, And we would greet women with their children. They said, we called the kids in sick today from school. "Yeah, I'm here at a tea party." So at that point, we had about, a little over 500 folks there. And we're standing around looking at each other like, what do we do next? No one had ever done anything like this before. So we're trying to figure out, well, you know what to do? No, I don't know what to do. Well, let's chant something. So we started, the chants never seemed to work until we got to "Socialism Sucks." We got that one down. Socialism sucks! Socialism sucks! My little 8-year-old daughter looks up at me and says, "Daddy, can I say sucks?" I said, "Yeah, just this one time." "Socialism sucks! Socialism!" She was all about it. She was the best. She's all over YouTube. I'm so proud. So we got the "Socialism Sucks" chant down, and we started, well, what do we do now? Let's march. So we go, we start marching. It looked like a herd of cats. We're all over the place. We never marched. People, we never done anything like that. So we made it through that event. It was a great day. Everyone felt it. If you guys have been involved in these tea parties and done this, you know what I'm talking about. It's just regular folks. Most weren't weird. It was just cool to stand with other Americans. And for most of us, it was our first time ever doing something like that. We got a call, a few days later. Laura got a call, and they were trying to organize this nationally. So would you like to, we don't have any tea parties happening in Indiana. Would you like to head a tea party up? And we said, sure. How hard can that be? We're in. So we put out the call, and we're going to meet at our warehouse. And we thought for a planning session, and we thought we would have some chips and have a pizza, and we would say, let's do this tea party. And we were hoping that maybe a dozen people would show up. 80 people showed up for that first planning session. We had to buy more pizza, And we all did what Americans do, and we just got involved. It's just regular folks, all different walks of life. All different ages. It was just a very special thing, and you guys have been involved in this, and you know what I'm talking about and what it feels like.